Welcome to another episode of David Michael Woods Unfiltered. Here's a panel on MSNBC, some undecided voters, and their thoughts on the 2024 election.
Burrell. So, David, let's go through this. How do we know if these voters are truly undecided? Explain who was polled, how they were polled, and what is distinctive about this demographic.
Thank you, Miki. Yeah, this is definitely a treat to be on here. And, when actually Mark Halperin called me a couple months ago and said, hey, we're going to hear so much this election cycle about the masses on both the political sides of the 150 million people who are going to vote. But really the story of the election is about, less than 5% of that, or at least the definitive story of like who's going to win the election.
Yeah.
And so we said, hey, we want to figure out a way to bring these voices out because we're largely always left in the dark on them. And so we went through a process of putting a plan together, not just to say, hey, can we find these people, find these undecided voters? Can we also, survey them and then invite a good mix of them to participate in our focus groups? And so we started that process about 2 weeks ago and have been really happy with, our ability to bring those voices out on a program like this and for you to kind of get these previously unheard of opinions out to the people.
So before we show that, what was the overall one line bad news for Biden?
I'd say bad news for Biden was definitely the economy and the border, which I think isn't all that surprising or different than what you might even hear about the electorate in general. But even when you look at, and I know you mentioned personal family finances, that is more of a combination of yes, the economy, but also healthcare and entitlement programs and all these other type of factors that go into it. So even though Trump was performing better there, it wasn't as stark as the economy in general. When you look at the economy specifically, it was not good.
Yeah, no, we're going to show in the focus group and really spell it out because it's fascinating. Where does President Joe Biden perform well?
Well, as you mentioned, he performed well on abortion. And then I think if you look at Biden and then also the Democrats as a whole, when we ask, hey, who are you trust on these issues? It was very stark on a number of issues, whether it was climate, education, healthcare, and then federal programs, all of those issues when we did the polling. And some of that we saw in the focus group, Biden was certainly outperforming Trump on those.
I want to take a look at the focus group that your firm conducted, because I think hearing from these types of voters really crystallizes what you're talking about here. Your firm conducted the group along with the interactive video platform Two Way, and it's made up of undecided voters, as we've been saying, from the three Great Lakes battlegrounds, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania, states that were narrowly swept by Donald Trump in 2016 and by Joe Biden in 2020. So here are the answers when asked what the best argument is for giving President Biden another term. Take a look.
I agree with his stance on abortion. I mean, for me, that's probably the only positive I have right now.
What other people think? What do you see as the best argument for another term for President Biden?
I agree with you. Yeah, that's the only positive thing I've got going for him.
He definitely shows more care towards disenfranchised people. He's not one of the, hey, you're on your own kind of people. And I personally agree with, we should be supporting people who need support and it should be kind of a collective good sort of thing. And I think he's not a socialist, but Biden definitely, represents that far more than Trump does. And that's the case, I would say.
I like what he did with loan forgiveness for college students and with their debt from loans for college. I think that was something positive he was trying to do.
I think he's doing well with the carbon credits and the environmental issues.
I think he represents something of a safe status quo choice. If that's a good thing or not, I'm not really certain.
David, is the bottom line here he's not Trump? There were so many different answers. What was your takeaway?
Yeah, I think that, one of the thematic things on those answers, and as well as some of the other things we saw in the focus group, was that no one in that focus group liked the way Trump presented himself. And then I think so you heard a little bit of that, people relating more to him. Numerous different words were used on it. But yeah, on the issues, it was kind of across the board. But on some of those we talked about, and we saw that in the survey too. We had abortion and climate change. But certainly, I think thematically, not Trump definitely was from a personality standpoint, especially was something that was threaded through the whole group.
I want to show two more. The undecided voters were also asked how they think President Biden is doing on the economy. Take a listen.
I think he's been absolutely disastrous for the economy.
I agree.
Raise your hand if you think President Trump's policies on the economy would be better for your family personally. Raise your hand. All right, so that is everybody. President Biden argues that his economic record has been very good. He said President Trump's was not as good. What are you keying off of, Sean? Since you had the best smile, and Virginia the second best smile. What are you keying off of to say President Trump's economic policies would be better for you?
My past performance of my 401k. I know it was post 2020 and everything kind of flipped around, but you can't blame everything on 2020 for forever.
We have areas here in Pennsylvania where it's just at a standstill right now. Like things are supposed to be being built and the interest rates are just way too high for people to invest and start moving around.
And Virginia, just staying with you because Pennsylvania is near and dear to Joe Biden's heart. Are there Biden policies that you would blame for the problem? And if so, what are they?
The interest rate is so high right now. And I know they're trying to cut the inflation down, but like if nobody is building, no businesses are really coming to Pennsylvania right now to keep us moving forward.
Even if you're trying to buy a house, because I'm trying to become a first-time home buyer, the prices are so high right now. It's just hard.
Is there anything Joe Biden could do or say between now and the time you vote that would make you feel differently about feeling that his policies would not be as good for your family on the economy? Or have you pretty much decided that Trump's policies would be better for the economy?
I mean, I feel like he doesn't even take accountability for what's going on in the economy. Not even accountability. Like he's in denial that it's happening.
The point is Biden needs to hear the people, because when he's talking about the economy doing stellar, he's talking about the stock market. He's not looking at homelessness or joblessness. He's not, at AG's point, thinking about how much it costs to go to the grocery store. And he's gaslighting literally everyone in the process.
Okay. And Omar, you voted for Joe Biden last time, right?
Yeah.
Some really important and hard insights for the Biden campaign to hear there. And hearing all that, you might think things are pretty bad for President Biden. That was not good.
Thank you for watching another episode of David Michael Woods Unfiltered. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, give the video a like, and share it with a friend. God bless and have a great day.